Hello everybody and welcome to another video on the Pole Position YouTube channel. In this video we are going to be looking at the winners and the losers of the Monaco Grand Prix. The Monaco Grand Prix saw Max Verstappen win after Charles Leclerc did not start. We'll go into that as well in detail later on in the video. But Max Verstappen wins the race. He now takes the lead in the Drivers' Championship by 4 points from Lewis Hamilton, and Red Bull take the lead in the Constructors' Championship over Mercedes, who had a dismal weekend altogether. So we're going to look at the winners and the losers from the Monaco Grand Prix weekend. So without further ado, let's get into it. So of course, one of the main winners of the Monaco Grand Prix is Red Bull as a whole, but in particular Max Verstappen. Now obviously one of the previous videos I was looking at Sergio Perez looking to win the race, and obviously that got a huge amount of viewership as well, so thank you for everybody for viewing that video and obviously commenting as well. It was great to see all the comments flying through. Sergio Perez did a fantastic job, not in qualifying but in the race. Qualified P9 on Saturday, but obviously made up for that great strategy by Red Bull, which saw him finish the race in 4th place. Couldn't get past Lando Norris, but again we'll go into that in a bit detail later on as well. But yeah, Max Verstappen did a great job. Obviously was a bit disappointed not getting pole position after Charles Leclerc had that crash in qualifying, got the red flag out, so they couldn't do their last lap in Q3. So he felt he could have actually got pole position from Leclerc had it not been from that red flag incident. But yeah, managed obviously then with Charles Leclerc not being able to start the race. Did start the race on pole, even though it was from second on the grid. Did a great defend from Valtteri Bottas on the first corner to make sure he went into the first couple of turns in the lead of the race, and from there really just looked comfortable. It didn't look like there was much issues going on. I think he said after the race that him and his engineer didn't really have much discussions during the race. It was very calm. The team was very collective. Max was keeping it cool, and great pit stop by them as well. Come away with this now in the hot seat, as it were, with the fact that they're now ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Max Verstappen is now ahead of Lewis Hamilton in the Drivers' Championship, and now Red Bull have taken that step against Mercedes as well. So yeah, fantastic job. Now 4 points clear of Lewis Hamilton, is the 64th driver to lead the Formula 1 World Championship. And what we've said is that over the last couple of races, obviously Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes looked like they'd taken it from Red Bull with the Spanish Grand Prix, and Mercedes' strategy paying off in that. And Red Bull have come straight back. They knew that they had to really win this race. They probably had the best car for it anyway. Mercedes were very much off the pace, and yeah, Red Bull took that advantage, and I think Leclerc not being there was probably a bonus for Red Bull. Yeah, obviously they needed to win that race for their part in the constructors, but mainly for Max Verstappen as well, now taking the lead for the first time in his career in the Drivers' Championship. So yeah, one of the main winners this weekend is Red Bull as a whole, but of course Max Verstappen. So yeah, congratulations to them. And then quickly mention one of the losers. Obviously had a great Saturday, being the on pole position for the first time in Monaco, his home race. But yeah, a huge, as they've put here, roller coaster of emotions for his home Grand Prix weekend. He was on pole, but he did have that incident. He crashed. I'll probably try and put a picture on now, which obviously brought the red flag out. They did talk about it, that it could be an issue with the gearbox or something with the car after having that big shunt, as it were, to bring out the red flag in qualifying. It looked okay. The team put out that they wouldn't have to change the gearbox. It didn't look like he was going to have a penalty and drop further down the grid because they'd have to change anything. But yeah, he went out, did his formation lap, and it just wasn't right. It just didn't look, he wasn't happy with it, and it came out as a mechanical failure, and he didn't even start the race. So huge disappointment for Charles Leclerc, for all the fans wanting him to win the race. The fact that he didn't even start as well. So huge disappointment for Charles Leclerc. If I go on it on the flip side, great emotions on the other side of the garage at Ferrari. Carlos Sainz did a fantastic job, finishing in 2nd place, doing everything he needed to do for Ferrari. You could see the emotion. Charles Leclerc after the race was still there, congratulating Carlos Sainz on his podium as well. Great result from Sainz. He looks like the best one that sort of transitioned from one team to the other this year, and yeah, he's hit the ground running, as it were, with Ferrari. Ferrari, doing a fantastic job and completely deserved that podium. So disappointingly on one side for Ferrari with Charles Leclerc, the fact that he didn't even start the race from pole position on Sunday, but on the other side, great job from Carlos Sainz, and he is looking like a true great racing driver for Ferrari at the moment. So yeah, great job from Carlos Sainz. And then the flip side is both of them really in the loser section. Mercedes as a whole, Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas, just wasn't a great weekend. I think the best driver really was Valtteri Bottas. He looked better in qualifying. He looked like he had the car more dialed into his driving style. Lewis Hamilton didn't look happy from the first practices on Thursday. He just didn't look like he was happy with the way the car was sticking. There was no front end grip from him, qualified in 7th place. Just didn't look happy on the Saturday. Valtteri Bottas qualified P3, but obviously that went to P2 on the grid really when Charles Leclerc didn't start the race. But and then we go on to the Mercedes strategies. We hailed it. We said how great it was in the Spanish Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton was not very happy on the team radio because they brought him in early. Gasly then overcut, as well as Sebastian Vettel. He lost 2 places. Sergio Perez then did a even longer overcut and overtook them. So yeah, it was not a great weekend for Mercedes in terms of their strategy. And then they had another issue on their pit stops. Valtteri Bottas, again, he has to be the most unlucky driver on the grid. There is no doubt in that. Having a pit stop, couldn't even get out of the pit box. They had an issue with the wheel nut. It just looked like it had sheared. So every time they were putting the wheel gun in, it just wouldn't come back out. They tried a different wheel gun. That didn't work either. It was an absolute mess from Mercedes. It really was. And obviously Valtteri Bottas, again, another retirement. And he looked better than his teammate this weekend. And this was the race where Bottas was maybe thinking, I may not get the win, but I'll get some points on my teammate, and even Max Verstappen as well. That didn't work out for him, and again, another disappointing race for Valtteri Bottas. But both of them, both drivers and the team are in the loser section really, because it was a really, really disappointing weekend for Mercedes. And another one really a bit like Ferrari that's had a great weekend from one side but not a great on the other is McLaren. I'll go for the loser first. Daniel Ricciardo just didn't look like he was on it this weekend, didn't look happy with the setup of the car. A couple of races ago in Portugal he looked good as well. He looked better than Lando Norris, and we thought, maybe this is Daniel Ricciardo maybe getting back into the rhythm, as it were, showing his potential at McLaren. This looked like the complete opposite. Really struggled in qualifying, couldn't get into Q3. And then again with Monaco, if you have a bad qualifier, you're really going to struggle in the race, and it really looked like that from Daniel Ricciardo. Couldn't get past the 2 Alfa Romeos, just really struggled to get past Kimi Raikkonen, was stuck behind him all race. Obviously Fernando Alonso was in the same thing as well for Alpine. Just looked like they struggled. Fernando Alonso actually had a really terrible qualifying as well on Saturday, finishing 17th. But yeah, for Daniel Ricciardo, just really wasn't a great race for him. If we go on to the other side for Lando Norris, finishing P3, first podium in Monaco as well, just looked absolutely great. First Monaco podium for McLaren since Jenson Button in 2011, so a decade ago for McLaren to wait for their first Monaco podium. But yeah, great result from McLaren. Sergio Perez looked like he was catching them, and the tyres were going off a little bit more for Lando Norris. But again, if you position the car well in Monaco, it's very difficult for the car behind to overtake. So yeah, fantastic result, an amazing livery. I'm so disappointed that we're not going to see that going forward for McLaren for the rest of the year. Wish we were sticking with that, to be honest. It looked absolutely fantastic. But yeah, great job from Lando Norris. Is really showing his potential this year, and is looking like a great young British driver, which we knew already, but I think it's performing now even more so. Daniel Ricciardo still have some work to do, but McLaren as a whole are the winners in this weekend as well. Quickly, lastly, I know there's been quite a few here in terms of winners and losers on this weekend, but a lot has been happening. A quick mention to Sebastian Vettel and Aston Martin as a whole, really. Great strategy for both. Lance Stroll did really well as well to get into the points. Even after he pitted, he did a huge sort of long stint, and then even when he pitted, he still managed to sit around the 8th position, so that was a great job from the strategy for Aston Martin. But like I said, even more so for Sebastian Vettel. Did get driver of the day, which was fantastic for Vettel as well, but we just saw a glimpse. Again, the strategy did well. He managed to overcut the director who was doing the race. Don't know what happened. He completely missed the overtake from where he came out of the pits pits, and he overtook Gasly and Lewis Hamilton as Vettel was just coming out of the pits. Annoyingly, we missed that live, but yeah, he did a fantastic job. Sebastian Vettel did calm, sounded great on the radio as well when the race finished. But yeah, it was really good to see Sebastian Vettel in the points, finishing in P5 at the Monaco Grand Prix. We know he's always done great there as well in his time at Red Bull and obviously Ferrari. So yeah, great job to see the 4-time world champion in some decent amount of points at the end of this weekend. So they are my main winners and losers from the Monaco Grand Prix. Please let me know your thoughts. Who do you think had a great weekend? Who do you think was really off the pace? Like I said, thank you very much for the last few videos. Great support. Thank you very much for watching and obviously commenting as well. Thank you so much for subscribing to the YouTube channel as well. If you're new, please like the videos, please comment, please subscribe as well. It really does mean a lot. A few podcasts will be coming out as well. We obviously have the next race up in Azerbaijan, so obviously that would be great in Baku, another street circuit, but hopefully more chances of an overtake as well. But yeah, thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care. See you soon.